You may not believe what I'm going to say. There will be a huge shortage of chefs in Australia in the years to come. I'm going to run through the official predictions released for the year 2026 for chefs. This information is very interesting that if you are looking for an Australian career or being a chef, and every information will be very interesting for you. Stay tuned. I'm Sundar from Boss Consultants. The first questions you need to ask is who's eligible to be a chef for Australia? Anybody who's having a position currently employed as chef de partie, senior chef de partie, or even Commis 1 as a senior level, and sous chef, executive sous chef, and executive chef. These are the people coming under the chef category, and you being a chef, that your profession or the trade is in very, very high demand in Australia. So you have a very great chance of finding a good career in Australia in the years to come. Let's see how the statistics are rolling out. Say for an example, how many number of jobs are open for chefs in Australia, and what is the growth, and what is the ratio, and what kind of specializations are available? Let's go through one by one. There are close to 117,000 chefs are currently employed in Australia and various hospitality establishments, which is nearly as about 118,000 chefs. This is growing at a rate of 14% per annum, which is very high. So for example, if that means about close to 20,000 more chefs are needed every year on that particular level. And these chefs are having an average age of around about 35, which is perfect middle age. And being a chef in Australia at that particular time is a phenomenal career growth you can look for in the years to come. And quite interesting is, out of which is about 25% are women chefs. If you are a woman and you want to take culinary as a career, and Australia is a perfect destination for you, because already there is a path, you being a woman, you being a successful chef, and already there are so many people out there, and it's easy for you to go and establish yourself there. So think about it. It's very important that we need to know the job description of a chef in Australia, because every country have a different job description for every position. But if you're being in Australia, doesn't matter if you work elsewhere as an executive chef, you come to Australia. Australia is really a hands-on cooking chef's country, which means even if you are an executive chef, you are expected to be on the range and do the cooking. It is very, very important. In many countries, level of executive chefs do a lot of paperwork and they have a very, very limited cooking. But here, it is very important that you need to comprehensively manage the kitchen, including cooking. Let's see that what are the tasks or the job descriptions is required. A chef is supposed to start from everything, from menu planning, menu designing, and also that making sure that the cost factors, also hiring the staff, training the staff, and also make sure that you work with the marketing team or the promotion or sales team, how you can improve your business. So that means if you're being a chef, it's not only the cooking, but also that how you can make your hospitality establishments as a successful one. So as being a chef, it's not just cooking, but also that you are a kitchen manager with a higher skill of cooking, so that your skill and the knowledge is improve the business. Generally, that many having this particular question in their mind. I'm being a chef, how much I can earn in Australia? It's a very, very valid question. It's a very, very important question. So if you're being a chef, say for example, if you work in a medium and a large establishments, your salary is something close to around about $1,500 to $1,800 per week. So that means you can calculate how much is going to be for a month. But if you're looking at a small establishments, you're looking at something about $1,250 to $1,400 per week. So you're being a chef. And in the recent time, in the last few days, you must hear there's a lot of announcements coming. The government is planning to increase the basic threshold salary for trade workers, which means it used to be at $54,000. Now it's looking at something about $70,000, which is almost about 20% hike. So that means you can calculate that the salary structure looking at this, which is very, very attractive. Let's talk about you being a hospitality professional, that what is the ratio that we have comparing with the other trades. So for example, 82% of the people who are going to Australia in the trade sector is basically from hospitality industry. So that particular industry, I mean the accommodation, hotel, food, restaurants, and these are the industry which is taking majority of the trade people. So that means if you're being a chef, that you have a greater chance to find a fantastic opportunity in Australia. And another important point, people always think, okay, I go to Australia, but where I land, because Australia is a huge country, which state I'm going to go. So obviously, the major development happened in the past 20 years in New South Wales and Victoria, where Sydney was an earlier one's capital and Melbourne was the Victoria's capital. Majority of the people was going to find opportunities in these two cities or in these two states. However, if you look at the future prospects, Australian government is encouraging people to distribute the population to different states, especially South Australia, Tasmania, Northern Territory. These are the states is having an additional benefits for people to coming there and find a career so that they can contribute to the industry. If you are going to Australia, my advice is that not just look at these particular two states alone. You need to explore other states as well, because you may find more attractive and interesting opportunities in other states as well. If you are being a chef that you're looking at Australia, not just for a short-term career, but also looking for a long-term career, if you look at the statistics very carefully, the people who got into hospitality industry, they have a greater chance to stay back in Australia permanently. For example, you can apply for permanent residency. So it works that way, that if you work and contribute for a couple of years in the industry and then prove yourself, so that way there are point systems or the sponsorship open for you so that you can look for permanent options to stay back and work and settle in Australia. And especially in the recent times, the new announcements coming where they're going to completely overhaul the migration system for trades, especially the high demand trades like chefs or any hospitality industry, where you have the greater chance of just staying back, not just rely on point system, but there are other areas where you have an opportunity to apply for your permanent residency. So if you feel there are a lot of opportunities you're coming across in Australia now, you can imagine by 2026 there's going to be a larger opportunity and increasing demand for chefs and hospitality professions in Australia. So this is the right time that you can look at exploring and equip yourself. As you are aware, Australia, if you want to be a chef, and you need to make sure the two prerequisites are very, very important. Number one, you need to finish your skill assessment as being a chef. Make sure that you apply certificate for commercial cookery or Asian cookery, which will take you into a chef level assessment, and the English requirements based on the visa you apply. We also made a video, which is a quite interesting video. It might be of your interest. What are the 10 common mistakes people make while applying for their work permit visa? So please watch that video. I'm sure that you find some valuable points in that video as well. See you soon.